All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving our praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, B'cha HaKodash. Divine is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this morning's lesson, I wanted to read the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. And I may read down to verse 10, depending on the spirit, man. But I wanted to get a few verses here in this chapter just for exhortation, for the believers out there to keep pushing on, man. Especially brothers out there who are on the highways and byways doing these videos, preaching the gospel, to just keep grinding, all right? So without further ado, we hop into this here, man. And once again, I hope it's edifying. So this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, starting at verse 1. It says, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them." So the souls of the righteous, okay, that's the elect. They are the righteous, and we're hoping and praying to be of their number. And Solomon said that they are in the hand of the Most High, meaning what? They are in his care, his protection, his power, okay? And then he said, no torment, it says, and there shall no torment touch them, okay? In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery. And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. So in the sight of the unwise, the unbelievers, those who don't have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, in their eyes, we seem like we're wasting our time and that we are in the cults and we going to hell and whatever, whatever BS that come to their minds. But it says they are in peace, okay? And you have brothers and sisters, who have died in the faith. And those brothers and sisters are at peace, man. Okay, believe that. If they died in Yahushua, they are at peace, okay? They are asleep right now. And when Yahushua come back, he going to raise them from the dead. Matter of fact, according to the scriptures, they're going to get on the chariots first before those who are alive at the return of Yahushua. It says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And we are punished in the sight of men. Okay, we catch hell, we get talked about, talked down on, all kinds of things, right? But yet our hope is full of immortality. Why? Because we know that through being chastised and suffering for Yahushua, we will be joint heirs with Yahushua in the kingdom. So we take pleasure in the sufferings, man, and the losses and the ups and the downs, the rebukes, whatever. We take pleasure in it because it's a part of this walk. Because we know that at the end of this suffering, these trials, is immortality, man. None of us never had immortality, okay? All we know is death and misery, okay? So to have the victory over death, man, that alone should motivate you to keep pushing, okay? That's what Yahushua give us. He gives us the victory over death, man. That is mind-blowing, okay? Now, I know for some people in the world, that's hard to believe, that we can overcome death and this mortal state, right? But they don't understand Yahushua and his sacrifice and what he did for us, man, in order to have access to that, okay? So once again, Solomon says that yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. So being a little chastisement, right? Going through your portion of hell, because we all got our own portion in our walks, our brothers got different walks, but nevertheless, we go through it, okay? And the scriptures call this a little chastising, right? Paul also used somewhat of the same talking point in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, right? About this being a little chastisement compared to the reward that's coming, right? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory." That's the kingdom of heaven. So what you're going through, brother or sister out there, it is little to no comparison to the reward of the kingdom of heaven, man. Okay? We're talking about ineffable glory, okay? Which ineffable meaning that you can't put it into words. You can't put it into words. I mean, we have the Bible, the Bible gives us, insight to the kingdom, but it's like actually seeing it, living it, okay? Actually being in the kingdom, brand new bodies, bro, I mean, that's just mind blowing. But this is what Yahweh Shai going to give unto the elect. It says, back in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 5 again, "And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself." So the Most High, he's proving us, man. And he's going to find us worthy for himself, okay? Think about what the Most High said about Yahweh Shai, right? He says, "This is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased." Okay, so in other words, he found him worthy, right? He found him worthy, man. We're hoping and praying to be found worthy in the sight of the Most High, man. Okay? It says the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. Hey, man, when you go through things, okay, trials, that's the Most High proving you, okay? Don't feel good, right? Paul speaks about that. But nevertheless, you have to bear your cross, okay? You have to bear your cross, man, so that you can get the kingdom. Verse 6 says, "And as gold in the furnace had he tried them and received them as a burnt offering." Man, as gold in the furnace. So we're going through that spiritual fire, man, right? And then it says the Lord received them as a burnt offering. Then Paul speaks about us presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice, right? That's what we're doing. Sacrifice is still required, okay? It's just that we're the sacrifice now. We're the priests, doing all of the services, okay, to offer up a sacrifice to the Most High through Yahweh Shai, right? It says, verse 7, "And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble." Meaning what? We're going to have spiritual powers, man, okay? to run to and fro like sparks among the stubbles. That's having power. We're talking about real power, okay? Beyond, any Marvel movie, any DC movie, okay? We're gonna have real power, man. Heavenly power, okay? That's gonna blow our minds. Bro, to move like a spark, do you know how fast you have to be moving? We're going to have that kind of ability, man. Our ability is going to be, brother, it's going to be unlimited to the things that we can actually do in them brand new bodies, man. Keep in mind, these bodies are coming from the heavens. They ain't coming from your mama. They coming from the heavens. That Yahweh Shah made, man. So this gonna be, brother, this gonna be out of this world crazy. Okay? Verse 8 says, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. So in other words, the Most High, through Yahweh Shai, is going to give his men authority, okay? Because to judge the nations, meaning that you're ruling over them, okay? And the Lord going to balance this out to where, the 144,000, they're going to have rule and dominion, okay, over the heathen, getting things in order, man, making sure the laws are being kept, and so on and so forth, all right? So I'll close out with that. That's verse 8. But I pray that it was edifying through the Spirit, man. All praise Yahweh Bashim, Shai Bashim, Hakodash, Shalom.